Okay, start recording. We have begun recording.
Good. Yes, I see that now.
Alexis can't unmute until after the broadcast. They can't unmute until the broadcast starts. So I guess I really need to get the broadcast begun. One moment. I thought I had everything laid out, but as usual, not quite. Now, can I give everybody access?
Yeah, I've got your computer screen up.
Okay. I think everybody should be able to unmute themselves at this point now. No, I have to start the broadcast still.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
There was another button I had to push called Start Broadcast. Where's Bob anyways? Okay. Good evening. I think you can all now unmute yourselves if you so desire. Oh, nope, Doug is muted by the organizer. Let me unmute Doug. Make sure Ashlyn is unmuted. Alexa still has to enter her PIN or she can't talk, but muted by I want to unmute everybody. You can all have a chance to talk until we discover that someone's doing the dishes. All right. And we'll unmute Steve. And Luana, you're unmuted now. And now Steve's self-muted. Good. Okay. So, everybody hear me more or less?
Yes.
Okay.
I can hear you.
For the delay. All right. Is that Luana?
Yes, that's Luana.
Good evening.
Good evening to you.
All right.
Tom, do you want to go to full screen on your computer to get rid of the trimmings?
Oh, yeah. Well, I was afraid if I hit the right button, it was going to really mess it up. Yeah, let's look. How's that?
Much better.
Okay. Now, oh, good. Somebody figured out who was talking in the background. I don't have to mute them. Anyhow, apologies for the delay. I was searching for the right credentials. Bob's done this the last few times. I had to find where the login was. But this is the 2018 annual report for the United Four-Wheel Drive Associations. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Today is Wednesday, July 18th.
But where you are
is where I am. Yes, not all of us are so far ahead, Peter. This meeting is being recorded. Roll call. I have Alexis Nelson, Ashlyn Smith, Chris Boucher, Doug Saul, Fred Wiley, Jesse, and Jesse. Oh, Jesse, I'm going to butcher your name. But we got Jesse and Sandy from Virginia. We have Luana. We have Steve Egbert, Todd Okert, myself, Tom Mandera, and we have Peter Vari. And while it says Bob DeVore is here, that's a lie. That's me in disguise. So. Let's see if we can make it to the next slide. So we call the meeting to order. Welcome and introductions and the roll call. I think we've taken care of that. Here is the agenda, including the approval of the 2017 minutes. Those were published. Peter published them on the website and included the reference to them in the e-news that came out. We have the president's report, the vice president's report. We have the report from our nominating committee, treasurer's report. We have some awards to give out. I did not receive any delegate reports ahead of time, so we can go over a couple of those when we get there. Then we have the international vice president and the voice report. And I think falling off the bottom of the screen is the land use report. That's me. The picture has not been updated. So membership and the membership director is part of my topic, the little bit of simplification, and then the reports on the nominating committee. As you've probably noticed, since Richard's resignation back in February of 2017, we have not been able to fill the position of come back. I got rid of the trim that was in front of my screen. So we haven't been able to find a volunteer to be the membership director. It's been an ongoing problem, one that has plagued us. Part of Richard's problem, aside from his personal reasons for having to resign, frustration with the state of affairs of the information within that membership database that we had going back however many years, with numerous duplicates and overall a disaster. I found some time in the last 2 years to clean up and consolidate that. It's now at least all the current members are within a new database system with some more capabilities. I have not sat down to make the tool do everything that we'd like it to, including automatic renewals, credit card submission, and so forth. I get fits and spurts of time and effort to put towards it. We continue to get a few rosters coming in as hard copy, or they get mailed in with the check, but an electronic copy doesn't make its way. That makes it exceedingly difficult to get those rosters put into the database, because some poor sap, mostly it's been me, has to sit down and rekey that information, which can lead to some errors and mistakes, of course, and also it's a wee bit tedious. If it comes in as an Excel or a CSV, I've got a couple mechanisms now where I can rearrange the columns as necessary and get them all imported into the database pretty quick. My note down there says that rekeying the rosters is only slightly more enjoyable than that blind nut that you can only get a partial turn on before you have to flip the open end wrench over to get the next bit. And for you, Peter, that's a spanner. And very frustrating when you can only get a little bit of a turn, you flip it and do some more. So we're still owing some decals. They're still outstanding. Cal 4-Wheel and Orba have agreed to help with getting those mailed out. I did see, Fred, thank you very much, that 400 decals went out today. We've had a couple associations that have contacted us looking for their stickers, and they offered to distribute them within their organizations. And so several of those have finally received a shipment of decals, including one yesterday. Thank you, Fred. Mm-hmm. So a little simplification statement.
Excuse me, on the membership thing,
Yep.
When you say membership, are you sending out a bill to the different organizations?
We have not been sending bills out yet. The tool will allow us to do that, set it up on a schedule so that every year it sends the bill out, but without a membership director really focused on that, we haven't gotten there.
Okay, because our club in particular will not pay something without a bill, and
Yep.
So we need to have that bill in order to get our membership paid to be 4 Lakes, 4-wheelers.
I understand. Yeah, we have the ability now. We just need put the effort into configuring that ability, or simply producing the things. It's been a gap that we have. That it's so, thus far it has been so manually intensive and cumbersome that nobody wants to sit down and do that part. We do need to address it.
I would think just how many memberships are there right now? As far as groups, organizations go.
Not as many as there used to be. That comes up a little further in the slides.
Oh, it does. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll wait till then. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Luana. So since we've been having a hard time delivering on the grand vision of United, I was reminded to come back to our purpose, which is shall be a nonprofit corporation organized for the purpose of promoting the continued growth and organization of recreational four-wheel drive motor vehicle activities and maintaining access for recreational opportunities through education, partnerships, stewardship, and political awareness. It's come to my, we scaled back on the United store when we couldn't find someone to man the storefront. We weren't fulfilling orders in a timely fashion, so rather than continue to be embarrassed by not getting it done, we scaled back. So we can meet our purpose, our mission objective, without the legislative advocate, without four-wheel drive awareness, without the volunteer trail patrol. Those are all valuable, useful things that we can offer, but we don't have volunteers who wish to put forth the effort in promoting those. So the membership has spoken. What they really want is they want their decals. So decals and the fact that we continue to exist and the resources that we already have and make available, which, the four-wheel drive awareness and the volunteer trail patrol is available if anybody really wants to get after it. We've had a couple board members that wanted to champion that, but it just hasn't gotten anywhere. And let's focus on what we can do. Since we can't even get the decals out, we can start with that. So if we get the decals out, we get advertising, our members get what they think they've got coming for them. They're not asking for anything more. So our task can be this simple. Memberships are not asking for more today. So why do we keep trying to over-deliver? United did some very awesome things 10 years ago. The legislative advocate in particular was very effective, but we can't afford it. And I guess stop trying to go back to the heydays and let's focus on getting those decals put out on the street and back to basics and getting just that much done. Steve, you sent me an introduction. Do you want to give any sort of a VP report or say anything on your behalf, sir?
Well, I just wondered if there were people on that weren't familiar with what kind of my resume, I guess, since I was nominated for new president. I thought I'd just put a little thing together. Big thing is the stuff I've done with Cal 4-Wheel. I've been involved a long time with them, really since 2006 or something. I had a little struggle to figure this out. But I've been on the board of Cal 4-Wheel since 2006. Been president since 2013, served as Central District Vice President and the Central District Secretary Treasurer, and have chairmaned a couple events, mainly the Molina Ghost Run since 2000 for 10 years. Last year we found somebody to do it, and they're off and running, so I'm just helping them with the registration kind of stuff. One year I had to do High Desert Roundup down in the South District, and we did was involved with High Sierra Poker Run as we got that launched and going as a new event for us. Like Molina's we're in our 45th year, will be next year, so we've been doing some of those things for a long time as part of what we do. And Cal 4-Wheel is a big monster to run, but it's a lot of fun, and I've enjoyed that. All right, we have a foundation, and I've served on that board for a long time as well in various positions. Most of the time I help with the treasurer stuff, so I'm actually I have been the treasurer. I've not been the treasurer and stuff for a while, so I'm again the treasurer. I've liked helping with the ORBA Board of Directors as the United Rep is a position that ORBA added, and we added a reciprocally a ORBA person to the United Board, so that's been very exciting to be involved in that, and we have a board meeting tomorrow. I do, sometimes people used to say the Cal 4-wheel board didn't actually wheel a lot, but I do as often as I can. In my 92 Wrangler is there pictured recently. And I also have a 05 TJ, so that's just the only vehicles I have a pickup truck, but that belongs to Smithfield Foods, who I work for. So just a little intro on me. So if people don't know, I know many of you do know me. So
Thank you, Steve.
thanks, Tom.
I see that my my slide for the report from the nominating committee did not turn out nearly as well as I hoped it had. So we had a nominating committee to come up with we had some vacant positions to fill and some positions that were up for renewal. The president's up for renewal, the international vice president's up for renewal, the director of membership and is up for renewal and currently vacant, and the director of public relations was available. Officially, we're in a bad, I guess, parliamentary, we're in a bad spot today. We needed to get these nominations published, primarily through the e-news or the Voice, at least 10 days prior to this meeting. I don't think any of that took place. But we also didn't receive too many of these nominations until the last minute either. So once again, the outpouring of support from people volunteering to step into the positions has been rather quiet. But we did manage to arm wrestle a couple individuals with some assistance. So since officially we can't vote on any of these folks because we weren't able to publish it, the manner in which we can replace the president at this point is by, if I abdicate, and then the remainder of the board can select a appropriate, select somebody from whoever they want ultimately. But we can, now that we've got the parliamentary piece out of the way, we can of course accept votes from the delegates at this meeting, and I'm sure the board will take those under advisement on how they might choose to vote. So, you know, I know I have not done a fantastic job, at least I don't think I have, not to the standard that I'd like to. Like everybody else around here, I've got plenty of things to keep me busy, running multiple organizations, working my tail off, and 2 young daughters that keep me active as well. In fact, as soon as this meeting's over, I got to finish packing so we can get on the road tomorrow for a wheeling trip down to Colorado. But if no one's willing to step in, I'm willing to, and you're all not ready to run me off, I'm willing to continue to do what I can when I can. You heard from Steve, he's willing to step into the breach. We also had Ray Stanley. Steve, did you talk to Ray about his willingness and how much he's interested?
Actually, I think Fred spoke to him and told me about it. So he said
I talked to Ray earlier this week, and he is interested. If Steve moves up to president, he is interested in being vice president. He is in the process of finishing up his tour of duty with his company that was sold, and he will have more time to dedicate to this. So he is very definitely interested. He's very passionate about United and would like to be a part of getting it into the limelight in the future.
Sounds like a motivated individual. Thank you. So if Steve moves to president, that leaves a vacancy in vice president, which the board will then have to address. And they can put Ray in there if they'd like. So the last one is Bruce Chalice, and I didn't see Bruce make the meeting. Peter, did you want to say anything on his behalf, sum up his last message, or you want me to go find where I put it?
Sorry. Yeah, I had hoped that Bruce would be able to join us. He'd indicated that he was interested in the role of vice president. Bruce is, of course, an East Coast person, and he's been the driving force for many years behind Rausch Creek, and he also now has taken on board now in West Virginia. Oh, somebody's going to have to prompt me the name of it. Another park in West Virginia, and he's quite keen to wave the flag for United and get us back into a stronger position as we have been. So I have nominated Bruce for the role of vice president.
Okay.
So.
Thank you, Peter. We'll just skim through the rest. We've got international vice president. The only one there is the incumbent, Mr. Peter Bari. And you said this time last year we needed to find a replacement.
Yeah, I said I needed to find a replacement, and I haven't done it. So I'm still not completely burned out. As the role has not, in terms of international, has actually faded away a bit. So I'm willing to stand again and see what we can do to bolster that a bit.
Much appreciated, Peter. As I said, we didn't get it received. No one either volunteered or was nominated or was otherwise wrangled into standing for the director of membership or the director of public relations. Actually, sorry, Steve, or not Steve, Fred. It was Ashlyn, right? I did not put her in there.
I had suggested Ashlyn for public relations. She's doing an awesome job for Orba. She's getting out in the Midwest and meeting a lot of folks and attending a lot of events. And she's young at heart and physically young as well. So my sense is that she would do an excellent job and can work either direction from where she's at in Oklahoma City.
So again, most of those we can just, go ahead, Peter, sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I know you've very neatly deflected that director of membership, but I do recall you sort of conceding the thought that you might be able to cover that one to manage the database at the minimum.
Yes, I did. I did float that idea that I could continue to update the database and manage that. I'm still not convinced that I'm able to go out and drum up new membership, but maybe I can keep the plumbing going, and I've got a grasp on how to do that, so I'm willing.
I would also suggest, Tom, I like the idea of you staying on to manage the new system you're putting in place, but I think the board members in the business plan ought to be doing the membership as well. It's pretty broad and diverse. It has the ability to get into many, many areas, but we've got to have a message to carry. So as a part of this business plan that I will be starting the first part of October, I'm going to ask that the board members and the delegates step up and start doing membership themselves.
Sounds good to me. So, like I said, there's nothing for the delegates to officially do since this is all on the board, so we've got me, I guess, between me and Steve for the office of president. I would welcome the delegates' opinion. Should we, Peter, I think they can all message you directly in the chat window. I'm not sure they can message any other person, in that you're a staff member, which makes you special.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So if folks would like to put a name and message Peter's prepared to figure out how to read those messages. You could tally up the feeling of the
for the president's role.
For the president's role, please. And that still may change because I may just decide to abdicate and put Steve in the position anyways. But but this way they can all feel like they had a say in the matter.
Tom, could you
Okay.
identify the delegates on the call?
No. I think it's, I'm going to make the assumption that it's Chris and probably Doug and Jesse, or, well, probably Sandy, Luana. And Todd, I don't know, and it's delegates, but it's also the ambassador and lifetime members. And without checking, I think Todd gets a vote in that list too. And then you guys can, Steve can tell me he's Cal Four Wheels, which I would totally buy as well.
But we didn't get a bill. So.
Oh, right.
So I guess I could just make my own bill and give it to the office, and they could take care of that, and that's what I intend to do.
Well, as soon as you're president, you can.
Yeah, I can make my own bill.
Okay. So if people would like to, I've got that chat file open. So if people would like to type in and register who they prefer, we can do a tally there.
Oops, that's not how we do that.
If you go to the where is it? It's the very bottom link. It says chat, which you can then expand. And in the two, you can either send it to the entire audience, which is fine, or you can send it to Peter Bari panelists, if you can figure that out. Or if nobody really cares, it's only a two-way race between Steve and Tom. I thought maybe we had a few more involved, but and I said before, if Steve really wants it, I'm happy to step aside. If the delegates really want Steve to have it, I'm more than happy to step aside. And if Peter doesn't get any answer, we'll just sort it out at our next board meeting.
I'm on the iPad, so it doesn't seem to have a chat.
Oh no.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, that's a good start. Wonder why
I'm
there
trying to
isn't.
be into you, Tom, but
No, I can work with that. Like, we had this discussion the other night whether who is I don't know about whether it's a question of who's more willing or who's less disinclined. Well, Peter, if you're not getting any answer or whatever, I'll move on. We can.
I've had no response on the chat thing, but do remember I'm well ahead of you guys. So.
All right.
I don't think it's working. Yeah, it's not working.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe is there another way? Can we just do a?
You can do a show of hands too. Yep.
Yeah.
oh, there we go.
Yeah. Let's maybe just do a show of hands.
So who are we showing our hands for? Are we voting for Steve or first?
Why not?
I can just count the votes and manipulate it that way. We got Sandy. Sorry, we got 1, 2. I got 2 so far hands raised. Everybody raised their hand that wanted to raise their hand? Oh, now I got 4. Total of 4. Last call for your opportunity to figure out how to hit the raise your hand button.
Yeah, where is that one?
What are we voting for?
I don't know. We were voting for Steve.
10-4.
Did we figure that out yet? Everybody sort that? All right. How about voting for Tom? Raise your hand. It does conveniently sort these so that the raised hands are at the top. I hadn't noticed that before.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Tom, I don't have that that page
Oh,
in,
another
that
one of those.
thing in my panelist list.
I do. You know, that always frustrated me that Bob had all the keys and I couldn't see anything. Now I know how you feel, Peter.
Yeah.
So, according to the show of hands, the Steve has it. So.
Thank you. I was going to vote for Steve on that one.
So that'll cover that. We can either do it now or we can do it at the next meeting. I can step down. Steve can, the board can take the delegate's opinion and put Steve into place, and then you guys can sort out the ripple effect. Do we want to do that next month, or you want to do that right now?
This is Fred. I think we've been talking about making the changes for some time, not to be insulting to anyone, but you know, we don't meet this often with this number, so I think we should send out the message tonight.
So following this meeting, I will resign, which means
only from president. Only from president.
Oh. So
we still like you.
I appreciate that. What says the board for filling the position of president then?
I agree with Steve. Peter.
Okay.
I agree as
Anybody
well.
dissent? We'll do that. Okay. Who does the board want to? See, technically, I should make Steve do it. Who should we fill the vice president?
You can finish the meeting.
All right, I'll finish the meeting. Do we want Ray Stanley for vice president?
I will nominate Ray Stanley. I think he's done an excellent job getting Southern rebuilt over the past few years, and I think he'll bring his passion directly to United.
Okay.
And to complicate things, I've nominated Bruce as being an East Coast activist, because I think we're down on our East Coast numbers, and Bruce is very much a United advocate, and very well respected now up in that East Coast area.
So we've got two to pick from.
Which it's hard to turn a volunteer away. Is there, and Ray's been around a little while, is there some place that we could still utilize Bruce and not say, well, we didn't elect you, and kind of fade away? It's kind of what I'm thinking.
We have Director of Public Relations that has been vacant. Well, sorry, no, we have
a nomination there.
In there. Yeah, we got that one.
But Tom, couldn't you use help in membership? If he's that strong up there in membership, I think that might be a key to building up that eastern end. Also, Ray's in Atlanta. It's not completely east, but it's fairly well east.
Technically.
As far as I'm concerned, if we don't get the membership straightened out, the rest is all going to fall behind. So putting two people on that to work together is really a no-brainer.
Yep.
Agreed.
Well, my thought may be, in fact, because Ray was working in his other role, where he's been working on sort of the business side. Mm-hmm. And I just wonder whether, in fact, if we brought Ray into working on that membership and so on, because he's been very good at building the membership for Southern.
Yep.
Well, obviously, we haven't had that discussion. I talked to him about the vice president's position, and Ray is a leader and a delegator. I think that as vice president, he would be able to help with membership.
So we can also table this discussion until next month. And that would give opportunity to talk to Ray and Bruce about their desires and sort that out.
Yeah, that might work the best since they're both not on. So
I didn't catch that,
Yeah.
Steve.
Another
Since they're both not on, it might be
Yep.
easy to do that in our monthly call for August.
Yeah, the other side of that is typically the vice president is in training for the president's job at some point. And so I don't think it's bad that we do have change periodically with the term limits that are there. But there's an awful lot of image that you have to carry at building an association. And quite frankly, I know that Ray's image is huge within the four-wheel drive industry. I'm not saying the other gentleman isn't, but I don't know of him, and I don't know that the eastern side has been building real strong. We've been working with One Voice on the east side, and we've not heard of this gentleman. So that's only what I know from talking about the two people.
Yeah, Bruce has been working, had his head down building the park operations,
Right.
And he's also he's Middle Atlantic Association as well. So my thoughts again is, while we have other parties, interested parties on this call, do we do a straw poll at this stage and get the feeling of the other voters?
I would agree that the membership in itself, or the delegates, need to voice their opinion in some way, shape, or form, as you did with the president.
Do we want any discussion, or would the show of hands is kind of simplistic, but we could do that again? What says the delegates?
I'm still on. We can vote. You just get it done with. So.
Okay. So, show of hands for Ray Stanley, Vice President. Another 10 seconds. All right, put your hands down. Show of hands for Bruce. And 10 seconds remaining. So it's a draw, gentlemen and ladies. So there you go. Even split.
So send it to the board at the next meeting is my suggestion.
Yep. Well, we can invite Ray and Bruce to join us.
Yes.
And see, let them speak for themselves and see how they feel about it. So,
yep.
Thank you all for your input. We don't need to vote on Peter. He's stuck. And we only had one for the board for the public relations. So I think the board can move forward with that. And Peter wants to put me in for membership director, so that a dart can continue to be thrown. So if the board will have me, I will continue.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you. I appreciate
I
it.
raised my hand for that.
All right, so we got Treasurer's report from Bob for this 2018 balance sheet. Next year, it's on Fred.
It's on Fred, yep.
Yep. As of July 4th, 2018, we have checking and savings at $2,556.09. Wisconsin, we have checking, money market savings, and savings. And we have a Huntington savings of $38,329 for a total of our current assets just under $48,000, $47,998.80. Our net income was $9,326.29. Our total equity $28,687.13. For our total liabilities and equity of $1.20 shy of $48,000. The comparison between this year and last year. This year, our Huntington account is up by $1,560.24. Wisconsin checking is up by almost $300. The money market savings is, however, down. The Wisconsin savings, however, is up by $2,700. The Huntington savings is up by 12, almost $13,000. So our assets at this time last year were $32,080.84. This year we're, again, just shy of $48,000. So we're almost $16,000 better off than we were last year. Our profit and loss from January through July 4th. Maybe this is where Peter was saying I missed a slide for the tail end of last year, but dues of $9,830 received, club dues of $1,135, direct member dues $800, total income $11,765. Gross profit $11,765. We've had expenses, a bank charge $490.76, our annual registration $206.50, our dues to other organizations like SEMA $600. E-News cost us $311.70. Our membership expenses, $84.08. Our office expenses, $491.11. The website has cost us $264.38 for a total expense of $2,448.53. The net ordinary income, $9,316.47. The good, we've had a little bit of interest, a total of $9.82. For a net income of $9,326.29.
Tom, one comment very quickly. That e-news category, that also should list voice. That's e-news voice combined.
Okay, thank you. Profit and loss comparison. Dues are up by almost, the association dues are up by double. Club dues are down a bit. Direct membership dues almost doubled. Business memberships, we have had none. Donations and direct contributions, we've had none. Miscellaneous income, we had none. So our total income of $11,765 is actually behind the income from last year of $13,899.25. We're down $2,000. Gross profit, the net difference is we're down $55. So e-news cost the same, our dues were the same, our annual registration actually went down, but our bank charges went up. Office expenses slightly higher. Again, $55 net change on our expenses. So we reduced our income by $2,000, but we reduced our expenses by only $55. Interest, we've made a little bit more interest this year than we did last year, to the tune of $1.07.
Can you explain the increase in the association dues? What attributes that to be almost, actually more than double from last year?
It might be because I made the Montana 4x4 Association pay their last 2 years of dues.
Okay.
As treasurer of M4x4A, I cut the check. And in fact, there's another one that's due. That's not all of it, but that may be a significant chunk. That
Okay,
was,
it kind of stands out, that particular one.
Yep.
Tom, one of the things about this on the association on the United website, there are some published numbers which are actually the financial year, which goes January, December each year. So those accounts are slightly different from these because these are the current. This is the current position, isn't it? Rather than the technical financial year.
It's current
Correct.
position, but the comparison is at the same date last year.
Yes, I agree with that.
And by the end of the year, we'll have different numbers.
Yep. www.ufwda.org/who-we-r/reference-material. Peter published up there the financial results for the year end of 2017. It's also where the recording is from last year's AGM. Any other questions on the treasurer's report?
Okay, I move that we accept that.
Is there a second?
This is Fred. I'll second it.
Assuming no further discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
And those against, say nay. Well, the ayes have it. Thank you very much. Slightly dated list of our ambassador and lifetime members. There may be a couple missing, I think, but those are the ambassadors. There's the lifetime, including Rod and Lana Schneider on the left-hand side. And Chris and Carla Boucher are here. Or Chris is. Yes?
I downloaded the membership database a few minutes ago, and what Z membership calls current, we have 1,684.
Awesome. Thank you. Peter sent me a little bit of a report. It's at the tail end of the presentation, but he also sent a couple of pictures. I thought I'd put it in here. This was going to be Peter's opportunity to tell us that he still is looking for his successor, but also you can see that Peter's Series 1 Land Rover is alive and well out there in New Zealand, and Peter's still out putting, oh, sorry, that is not a Series 1 Rover, is it?
It is a Liberty, look just like the one I used to have.
Yeah, the Series 1 engine still runs nicely, but I'm afraid that that scaly yellow stuff that's attached itself to steel is winning in the underbody. The chassis needs some work.
Like all of them. So, what the heck? Now I'm going to find out that I lost my slide on the award nominations. Yes. We had, all right, well, how about this? The UFWDA International VP report, we can make the whole presentation available to be read. So we've got Peter's Vice President report, his International Vice President report. Is there anything you want to highlight, Peter?
No, just as the commentary indicates, our main problem has been exactly what Luana stated. We've not been good at getting out invoices for dues, and as a result, many of our international bodies have fallen behind because they won't pay without an invoice. So it's our own bloody fault.
Yep.
So we need to rectify that, and I'm sure that they will happily come back in a formal sense.
Okay. And as voice editor, aside from please send us some information.
Well, you do that very well. Yes. That is the main thing. We need to have your input from the organizations, even if it means you don't actually write something. Point me at what you've seen from within your organizations, or if there's somebody particularly active at doing, I know in our club, we've got someone who loves doing photographs. Everywhere they go, there's photographs, and they publish them everywhere. So that makes it really easy. We just contact them and say, can I use some of your pictures? Oh, sure. So, but finding those people is the trick thing. So if we can have that help, we can keep publishing a voice that's interesting.
Thank you for all of that, Peter. Put out a wonderful product. Jerry sent in his report for as Director of Environmental Affairs, but I don't see Jerry on tonight's session, correct? Double check. He didn't sneak in when we weren't looking. Nope. No Jerry. So you'll have to read Jerry's report. Craig actually didn't send a report. This is a rehash of last year's that as Forward Drive Awareness Director, he would ask to see if anybody wants to do it. He doesn't have the time to build a program like he could. he points to Southern as and their online training material as an outstanding opportunity. They're doing a great job. Otherwise, Craig is willing to continue, I think, to manage the email address, but if someone's got a hankering to go and undertake forward drive awareness, we could do better. So my slide on the United Awards is in the presentation, but I think it's hidden because I opened it up on the other computer. We received a nomination for the Jack Edwards Memorial Award, and this year's recipient is our own Director of Environmental Affairs, Jerry Smith, who's not here to receive his award. We did not receive any. We received 0 nominations for the Environmental Four-Wheeler of the Year award. We did receive 2 nominations for the Four-Wheeler of the Year award, with Ray Stanley coming out on top, and the runner-up being Adams Clark. Congratulations, everyone. That ends what I had prepared. So I'm going to come back up here. Delegate reports. Did anybody, no one sent a delegate's report? Would anybody like to give a delegate's report and have it added into the register, the record?
Yeah.
Well, go ahead. This is Luana. And I was just going to tell you a few things that are going on here in the Wisconsin area. We started, one of our clubs started a 4x4 clinic, and it has become a very popular thing. It's kind of like we got a tiger by the tail and not sure where to go with it from this point forward, since it has to stay small to be really effective, and yet we have more and more people wishing to attend this. So we only do this on an annual basis, and it's working out very well. Gives a person who has not done any four-wheeling, or maybe just a little, lots of good information in a very short period of about a 6-hour time frame of actual like workshop areas, and also then hands-on. Not sure where we're going to go with it, because like I said, it's kind of a how do you control it when there's much more demand than there is availability for people to do it. The other thing is that last year we did a major effort on a recreational opportunity analysis program that the DNR was had folks working on, and the way the questionnaire was written up, it did not really include four-wheel drive per se. We had to work through the questionnaire that said ATV, UTV, motorcycles, etc., which put us in the etc. line, which then creates a problem where they can forget about the four-wheel drive community again. So we did an effort of having everybody fill out under miscellaneous, and making for sure they knew it was the four-wheel drive community that was actually responding to the questionnaire. However, when they turned around and actually did the report, they took all the comments that were from four-wheel drive folks and put them into the ATV, UTV, motorcycle, etc. again. So you cannot tell how many people from the four-wheel drive community actually had input. Very frustrating, and they haven't heard the last of my complaints on that. We'll see where that goes, because this is also a key part in determining the SCORP, State Comprehensive Outdoor Recreation Plan, that is being worked on. And my concern is that we will get lost in the shuffle because they'll put it under this category rather than recognizing four-wheel drive separately. Another thing that's happening in the state right now is there's a new association starting up called Road Legal Four-Wheel Drive Association. And I am curious on how other associations are working with this, because you eliminate a segment of the folks that are part of the four-wheel drive community because they are not necessarily road legal. I'm not sure where this is going to go. We did have to agree that on state-owned property, at least at this point, that you had to be road legal in order to drive on their property. But other than that, it pretty much it creates an issue because they're creating an association of strictly road legal. Not sure where that's going to go. It's pretty new right now. And again, membership to me is, I think we really got to work on that for as far as United is concerned. And I don't mean new members. I'm just saying keeping the old members to start with. I think that's is a top priority. And as far as the decals go, many of us, the association, I'm sure, have more decals than they really need, because if you've been a member for 10 years of an association, you probably don't need 10 decals. What I requested last time was that they just not send us any more at this point, because we had spares to give to the people who needed one. And this could eliminate a little bit of the cost for United. I guess that's the end of my report. Thank you.
Thanks, Luana. Don't you change your vehicles often enough?
Pardon?
Do you not change your vehicles often enough to need new stickers?
Nope. We just sold our Commando. They've been running for 16 years.
Okay.
Yeah, we had put 2 on it, but we didn't need to replace them. So.
Okay. Anybody have comments on? Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Nope.
Oh,
I'm done.
The only thing I know that's not road legal that we're allowed to drive would be dedicated race cars.
Well.
Otherwise, in Montana, it's all got to be street legal.
Okay. So on
unless you got an ATV.
Oh well, see, there's where we're going again. We're separated from the ATVs and UTVs and the motorcycles. We're separate from them, and any of their trails we can, in majority of cases, we cannot run.
Yep.
We have a thing that's called we have street legal vehicles, but then we have what we call green sticker, which is side by sides, all that kind of thing. But sometimes a full size vehicle that is not legal can get a green sticker as a OHV vehicle and only used off road. So
right,
which the state allows those on state land, and federal also does as well, as long as they follow the rules for green stickers.
So federal properties allow that?
Yes.
Okay.
Just so long as they're current, because like in the Forest Service, that's one thing they check if they're interacting with a forest visitor. They check to make sure they're current. So they either have to have one or the, say you're sitting there in a highly modified vehicle, it's not street legal, they'll just check to see that your green sticker is current.
So they're recognizing the state's rules in that respect.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
All right.
The federal agencies have to recognize the state law. They're obligated.
Okay, that helps.
Basically, the enforcement is via the state. It's the state driving rules rather than the federal driving rules, because the feds don't really have driving rules.
No.
I think that's how that works out.
But their LEOs can write citations on registration. And California and other states reciprocate with the registration of many other states. So you don't have to pay a visitor fee.
Okay. So visitor fee would be something that like for a reciprocity type thing, or?
Yes, some states, there are not many left, do not require off-road equipment to be registered. Nevada just changed recently, last 3 or 4 years. Arizona, I'm not sure if Arizona has a registration now or not. So any of those states, if you brought a vehicle in and you didn't have a state registration from your home state, you had to buy a visitor's pass.
Okay, but if you had a state one, it would be recognized. Like if
yes.
So within Wisconsin, a UTV going to Arizona wouldn't have to worry about a pass because they haven't registered here.
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting.
And New York does not allow a UTV to be registered except for agricultural purposes. And so the residents of New York go to other states and buy UTVs and register them in those states, and New York allows that.
Okay.
It is complicated.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And that's what I think we're going to be working ourselves into here very quickly. If we're actually there a little bit already. So I'm kind of looking for different possibilities.
Tom, are we losing people?
Only one, I think.
I think Alexis had to go get her children.
Yeah, she disappeared.
When we find younger people, they have time commitments that are tougher.
Can I just, we're in delegate reports at the moment, Tom. Can I just reiterate to those here that we lost our delegate communication system. We were using the network called 6-pair list, which gave us that, and we lost that connection unexpectedly. They closed it down without notice, so we did not have a separate record of the current delegate emails. So quite frankly, we were up the creek without a paddle in contacting our delegates. So somehow, if we're going to rebuild the delegate side of things, we need organizations to tell us again who their delegates are.
Excellent reminder. Thank you, Peter. So if you know of other delegates who didn't make it tonight, we do need to recollect those individuals. Does Virginia want to give a report? Or anybody else looking for anybody else with a delegates report to give?
We're busy here in California. Jeff and John are both always doing something, and we're always a hotbed for things happening too. So couple bad things right now is fighting about Oceano Dunes SVRA on the coast and Carnegie SVRA. There's some legislation going through, but our lobbyist is working on that. So that strange things happen in Sacramento, and somebody might see that in a state near you and decide to do the same thing. So we're sorry about that. So, but we always have plenty to do here in California. But having Jeff, John, our lobbyist, and others makes dealing with those things a little easier.
Anybody else? I didn't prepare one for Montana 4x4.
Do you know the president?
They voted a new they voted a new president in at their last meeting. His name's Tom Mandera. Not much I know. Much the same, I guess. We just continue on. Somewhere around 200 memberships, holding steady. But I was busy preparing other things other than my delegate report. So And obviously, I wasn't able to rope any other M4A4A members into joining us for the delegates meeting. I have participation challenges here as well. Anybody else for a delegates report? Any new business?
Well, something came up on our call the other night about a separate entity to United Four-Wheel Drive for legal work. And I believe Peter thought that there could be some funds there that we could apply for a grant to do some different legal work. And is it Mr. Boucher that's on the call? Could he answer that, or do we need to look somewhere else?
Chris is probably the person in the best position to give us. Chris is muted by an organizer. Hang on. There. Chris is no longer muted. So now either Chris is paying attention and he'll tell us what he wanted, if he's got anything to contribute, or we'll hear him flushing the toilet. Chris? Or Chris doesn't have a microphone. Also possible.
Okay, it sounds like we've got to follow that one up.
Yes.
Oh, Chris is here, but he can't get his microphone. Oh.
That's usually my trick.
Oh, and now I see this whole thing where we've got questions as opposed to raising the hand. I found new functionality. That's awesome. A little better late than never. All right, so United Land Action Fund has some funding potentially available. So Chris says there is some money that we may be able to acquire. We'll need to work with at least Chris to figure out how we can unencumber those funds, get them out. I do believe there was some effort underway to close the books on the United Land Action Fund, although curiously, no sooner than we discussed the need to do some of that, I had members in M4A4A championing establishing such a fund. I have not roped any of them into taking over the United Land Action Fund, but you know, I had to steer some folks towards Todd Ockert and Blue Ribbon probably a year ago. They wanted to send memoriams for folks to somewhere, and we weren't in a position to accept that, but Blue Ribbon is. They do a better job advertising that as well. If you know, we resurrected the United Land Action Fund, that would be an opportunity to. We talk about how our membership doesn't seem to be getting younger and we're all getting older. Well, so the follow-on is we start chasing the people who are nearing death's door, and we talk them into donating all their money to us. It seems to be effective for other groups. I'd still rather go forward with all of you.
Right. Well, we're always looking for a project, and I think this would be a way to, you know, with different groups looking at different legal actions, maybe turn those into projects for this fund.
Sounds like something to pursue. But Chris has no microphone, so we won't be pursuing that this evening.
Well,
maybe we can rope Chris into a meeting. Go ahead.
Well, I have Carla's email address. Maybe I can reach Chris through her email.
I bet she knows how to get a hold of him.
I sense that.
No worries, Chris. I work in IT. We always have IT problems. You're not the first. You won't be the last. In fact, if we didn't have IT problems, I wouldn't have a job. What's that, Steve?
I said, yeah, that keeps you in a job. So.
Yep. So the more problems you have, the better off I am. Okay. Other new business. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
A second. All right, Luana seconds. Further discussion, last chance. All in favor? Aye.
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 Those opposed? Nay. Oh,
I was just going to say thank you very much to everyone for participating. It's been great.
Same here.
thank you all.
Thanks for all you guys are doing.
Great to hear from
Keep
you,
the lights
Luana.
on. Yes. Thank you all for participating. It's nice to see some old friendly faces.
Good night, team.
Good night.
Good night.
All right.